If you're watching this, you're past the basics. You know how to brush, you've got your Durag routine down, you moisturize, and your waves look decent. Not bad, decent. But decent isn't deep. If you've been at this for months or even years, and you feel like you've plateaued, the answer isn't more brushing. It's not longer sessions or more product. 9 tips I'm about to give you have almost nothing to do with effort, but these are the details that separate good waves from the kind that make people stop and ask what you're doing differently. Tips 1 and 2, compression details. Most people get backwards. Tip 1, your wave cap should be looser than your Durag, not tighter. Most guys think maximum compression everywhere is the goal, so they tie both as tight as possible. But the wave cap's job is even distribution across your whole head. If it's tighter than the Durag sitting on top of it, you create pressure points, specific spots where the cap digs in harder than everywhere else. Over time, those pressure points can flatten or dent the pattern in those exact areas. The Durag is your primary. Cap underneath should sit snug, not strained. Tip 2, rotate which direction you tie your Durag. If you tie it the same way every single night for months, you're creating consistent pressure in the same exact spots, night after night. Over time, that can create subtle flat areas or dents in your pattern that line up with where the knot or the tightest point of the tie always sits. Alternate the direction every few nights. Left to right one week, right to left the next. Same hold, same protection. But the tips 3 and 4. Brush maintenance, nobody talks about. Tip 3, clean your brush weekly, not when it looks dirty. Every time you brush, product buildup, dead skin, and natural oils accumulate deep in the bristles. And every session after that, you're redistributing all of that back onto your scalp and hairline, including bacteria that can contribute to irritation and breakouts right where your hairline meets your forehead. This is also where product choice matters. Heavy, petroleum-based pomades cake onto bristles faster and harder to clean out than lighter, water-based products. If you're using something like the Juice Boost oil as part of your moisture step, you'll notice your brush stays cleaner long because it's not leaving thick residue behind. Either way, once a week, soak your brush in warm water with a little shampoo, work it through the bristles, and let it dry completely before your next session. Tip 4, if you've got an older brush sitting in a drawer somewhere, put it back into rotation alongside your main one. Bristles need recovery time to hold their shape. Using the exact same brush every single session without a break can cause the bristles to bend and lose the firmness that creates deep pattern training. You don't need to go buy a second brush. If you've got one already, alternate between the two every few days, and you'll notice both brushes stay firmer and more effective long. Tips 5 and 6, temperature and timing. Tip 5, brush after a warm shower, not before. Heat temporarily opens the hair cuticle and increases flexibility, which means your hair responds to training with less resistance. Brushing cold, stiff hair requires more force to get the same result, and that extra force is where unnecessary breakage comes from. If your shower is part of your routine anyway, just reorder it. Shower first, then your main brush session while your hair is still warm and flexible. This is also the ideal moment to apply the Juice Boost oil. Damp, warm hair absorbs it more effectively than dry hair, and you're sealing in moisture right at the point your hair is most receptive to it. Tip 6, your most important brush session is the one right before bed, not the one in the morning. If you saw my video on overnight wave maintenance, you already know compression matters for protecting your pattern while you sleep. Your morning session sets the tone for the day, but your pre-bed session is what gets sealed under 8 hours of compression. If you're going to put your best effort into one session, make it this one. Tip 7, the counterintuitive one. Here's the tip that goes against everything the wave community usually preaches, and it's the one I want you to actually sit with. Build in a recovery week every 6 to 8 weeks. 1 week where you reduce your brushing intensity. Shorter sessions, lighter pressure, more focus on moisture and scalp health instead of training volume. I know that sounds backwards. The entire culture around waves is built on consistency and grinding. Telling you to brush less probably feels wrong. But here's the logic. Constant mechanical stress on your hair and scalp, daily brushing, nightly compression, week after week without a break, accumulates. A recovery week gives your scalp circulation a chance to normalize and gives your hair a break from repeated friction, which can actually reduce breakage and improve the quality of growth coming in. This is the same principle used in athletic training. Periods of reduced intensity allow the body to adapt and come back stronger. Applied to waves, a recovery week isn't lost progress. It's recovery that protects the progress you've already made and sets up better results in the weeks that follow. Try it once during your next 6 to 8 week cycle and pay attention to how your hair feels afterward. Most people notice their hair feels stronger and responds better once they resume normal intensity. Tip 8, track what you can't see day to day. Tip 8, take a photo once a month, same angle, same lighting, same time of day. Daily mirror checks make progress invisible because the changes between today and yesterday are too small to notice. But compare this month's photo to last month's and the difference becomes obvious. This isn't just motivation, it's diagnostic. If you compare your monthly photos and notice one area, maybe the crown or one side of your temple, is consistently developing slower than everywhere else, that's information you can act on. Which brings us to tip 9. Once you've identified a slower zone through your monthly photos, brush that area last in your session, not first. Most people brush their whole head in one continuous flow, front to back, same order every time. But the areas that connect slower deserve extra focused attention when you still have patience and precision left, which is at the start of a session, not the end when you're rushing to finish. Identify your problem zone, brush everything else first to get it out of the way, then spend the final final few extra minutes, giving that specific area the focused, deliberate attention it needs to catch up. None of these 9 tips are dramatic on their own. Looser wave cap, rotate your do-rag, clean your brush, alternate brushes, brush after a warm shower, prioritize your pre-bed session, take a recovery week, track monthly, and brush your problem zones last. Individually, small adjustments, but stacked together, this is the difference between a routine that produces good waves and one that produces waves people stop you to ask about. You already have the discipline. You've proven that just by being far enough into your journey to need tips like these instead of the basics. These details just make sure that discipline isn't quietly being undermined by habits you never had a reason to question. Drop a comment right now. Which of these 9 tips did you not know before this video? I want to see which ones are actually new information versus which ones people already knew but weren't doing consistently. If you know someone who's been stuck at the same wave level for months, send them this video. Sometimes the gap isn't effort, it's details like these. Subscribe if you haven't. I put out real wave content every week that goes past the basics. I'll catch you in the next one.